Ciao, I'm Enzo.
I'm Celia.
This is Piazza Talk, our channel about our life in Lucca
And in the Tuscan hills.
Please hit the subscribe button. Grazie. Ciao a tutti. What a miserable day today. It's been raining for a couple of days now and
Got colder, well, damper anyway.
Damper. It's sad. A couple of days ago the weather was rather nice, so we managed to do the Passeggiata dell'Amore, the walk in Bagni Lucca, in a rather pleasant day. And if you like to walk with us, I'm adding the link below and above. So now, to come back to our misery, we want to make something that cheers ourselves up. So we thought, because of winter, we should make a soup, a Tuscan soup, beans and farro soup. If you don't know what farro is, I can show it to you. It is an ancient cereal that still grows in our part of the world. It's been around for 2,000 or 3,000 years, and it is rich in protein. It's naturally organic, even if it's not certified, and grows on very poor soil, so it is magic.
But if you can't find farro where you are, you can use spelt, which is a near relation,
Yes,
and also something like barley.
Any cereal, that in grains that you have locally will do the job properly. So this the farro was cultivated in Garfagnana near us, and from a little farm that we know that they'll be good. Then we need the beans that they've been soaking overnight. It's late, but before going to bed, I want to soak the beans overnight, because tomorrow I'm going to make a soup. Okay, plenty of water, cold water, and they can soak for 10 hours. Good night.
Can you use any beans?
Any beans. I use cannellini because they're easy to find, but any beans will do, no problem.
And if you can't be bothered to soak them, you could use a jar or a tin.
Yes. If you use a tin, you need to have a little bit of vegetable stock. And the other ingredients we need: onion. I got a big one, but we need half of it. We need a couple stalks of celery, carrot or two, and a few tomatoes, fresh tomatoes on the vine. Then olive oil, as usual, salt and pepper to season, and if you have some bread, stale bread, we do perfectly well. This is our bread, we bake it. I almost forgot to say that in Tuscany they also use herbs. I got some dry bay leaves and some dry sage, but if you have fresh sage or even rosemary is good. Leave it on top so you reach the temperature quickly, and then I'm going to cook for an hour or 70 minutes. I add also a couple of bay leaves here, and I don't put salt, I put salt at the end. And while the beans are cooking, I'm going to chop the vegetables. I want to chop these vegetables not too thin, I like a bit of texture. So I'm not going to make a very fine soffritto. Soffritto is what in Tuscany called the base for a lot of dishes, that chop the vegetables in olive oil and then you fry them before you add meat or beans or whatever. And I'm cutting these pomodorini, little tomatoes, in halves. I think we have plenty of them. another farro. So we want to have a cup and a half of farro. Let me see. And now we want to rinse it. And we leave it here for later. And now we are going to do the base for the soup. So I'm going to pour some olive oil here, around 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and I'm going to turn it on. And when the oil is warm, I'm going to add the vegetables. Carrots, onion and celery. And also I'm using a cast iron pan, which is good for this sort of dishes there, because it keeps heat and virtually hugs the soup during the cooking, because the pan gets warm, gets hot. So it's good for cooking this sort of things.
But traditionally you would use a terracotta pot.
Yes.
But ours is too small.
It is too small for a big soup. And you can find a lot of shops of different size and height. And
do the soup ones have lids?
They have lids as well, yes. And while I'm stirring the vegetables in the pan, I would ask you to subscribe. If you've not done so, please do it, because it helps our channel very much, because it makes us first of all more visible, and so we can reach more people. And if you like our recipes, like in the country, like in Lucca, please subscribe, thumb up, and press the notification bell.
And we'd love comments.
And if you have a question, leave a comment, we will answer. And I'm going to add 2 sage leaves. And now the beans are nearly ready. They've been cooking for maybe an hour and 20 minutes. So I'm going to put salt now, like a teaspoon of salt, and then I can adjust the salt I season at the end of the soup.
We should also say that if you do use dried beans, we usually find they take longer than you think.
It is true, because on the pack they say 60 or 70 minutes, but I test them, and I'm afraid after an hour they're still a bit hard, so you need an extra 20 minutes.
We should say it does work very well with bottled or tinned beans if you're in a hurry, and don't feel you're getting a second class dish.
No, not at all, also because we also have beans in a cupboard, very high quality beans in jars, and they're delicious. I would say that if you use canned beans, you need to have vegetable stock, or sometimes what we use is an organic stock cube. So it is perfectly fine, we use it all the time there.
So it's a good way round if you want to make a quicker soup.
Yes, we do make quick soups all the time, because when we're working, we want to have something ready all the time, so we make a lot of soups.
We eat a lot of soups, particularly when we're working on the land, because they warm you up,
Yes,
cheer you up.
It's wonderful. And I also want to say that when we work at the moon, it is sunny and we eat outside. It's cold and sunny, but the soup in the open air is a wonderful feeling as well. It's a strange feeling,
Gives
but
you a
we love
lovely
it.
warm tingle in your stomach.
Yes, yes. So we eat on the terrace, warm soup in the sun, but it's cold outside. We love it. And now I'm going to add the tomatoes. I'm on a medium heat. And now I'm going to remove the tomatoes from the pot, because I'm going to add them at the end. And now I'm going to add the farro and go to mix it with the vegetables, toast them for a few seconds.
It's been washed but not soaked.
No, it's not been soaked because there are several kinds of farro. There is a farro perlato, which is a farro that removes the first layer of husk there. So it takes less to cook and you don't need to soak it. If you get the whole grain, then you need to soak it. But I don't think that they sell it, this farro whole grain. It's quite difficult to find. Normally, even abroad, you always get the one that is ready to cook. Okay, now the beans are ready. I'll turn them off. And I'm going to add, first of all, some of the broth, the water from the beans for a soup. So I'll start with this. What I'm going to do, I just cover the farro with water, okay? And also I'm adding some beans. Okay. I'm using more or less half the beans that we cooked, and we can save the other one for the next thing. Actually, I have an idea here. We should make with these beans pasta e fagioli. And if somebody likes pasta e fagioli, you can watch a video, and I'm leaving the link to this in the description box and above.
And it's one of my favorite dishes.
Yes, it's wonderful.
So basically, that's the main bit done. And how long is it going to cook for now?
I would say that probably half an hour, 40 minutes. Now the farro is swelling up and absorbing the liquid, so I'm going to keep adding liquid, one little at a time.
And this is during your 40 minutes cooking time?
Yes,
so you can't
exactly.
just go away and have a
No, this
walk
is
around the block.
But if you use a pre-cooked farro, you can speed up the process. You add just the amount of stock that you need, and probably it will be ready in 10 minutes. This soup here is very traditional. It is what they do in Tuscan, especially in Lucca, with some variations. So every family does in a slightly different way, but basically this is the idea. I'm adding another little of beans stock. Some people blend the beans and they add them to the soup. I don't do it, but I use a traditional way. In the end, I mash them a little bit at the end, but I like them this way. What do you think, Celia?
I like a bit of texture.
Yes, this is one of the things, soup with personality, I would say.
But I mean, it's called a soup, but it's actually quite thick.
It is, yes.
It's almost like a stew.
Well, it's the name of soup means everything and nothing here. The ribollita is a soup, but it's a very thick soup because the bread soaks up all the juice. So seems that it's almost ready. So I want to do a couple of things. First thing I would like to say, if you run out of stock from the beans, you can use some hot water. I mean, we're still fine, we have some left. But if you run out of liquid, just add hot water. Now, as I said before, we don't blend the beans with a blender or with anything. So I use the traditional way. I mash them. This is an English tool, but it's good for the purpose.
Not a traditional tool. I think a fork may be a traditional tool.
Yes, okay. But anyway, anything that is good for the purpose. Okay. Look, that beans, they get squashed. You can see that the density is changing now.
But you don't want to squash them all.
No. And we now go to season it. So I'm going to add salt. You season according to your taste. And now I'm going to add pepper, ground pepper. I'm going to put the lid on the top. Wait for a few seconds, and then I turn the heat off. These are 2 slices of home baked bread. and I'm going to toast them. We don't actually own a toaster, we never own one. It's now ready and we can serve it. These are the tomatoes we prepared before. A couple of them to decorate, but they're also very tasty. And the final bit is the bread toast. Leave it here. Actually, not the final bit, because we got something else. We always forget to say that. Olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, and also a bit on the bread, and we can eat it.
This is really one of my favourite soups, meals. I love vegetables, I love beans, and this is such a complete meal. If you're a vegan, it's super perfect. And so just adapt it to your local ingredients and you've got an amazing, filling meal.
Lei ti tirava un po' in farfine.
Are you looking for more plates and cutlery?
Lo lasciate per ora giù.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoy our videos, please subscribe, leave a like and activate the notification bell. You just need a Google account and it's free. It helps our community enormously. Thank you very much.